All right, so we are back. We're going to be kicking things off this morning with our first conversation with Mr. Astell Collins, and he's here to talk about youth empowerment. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's
How
a
are you?
pleasure. I'm fine. You?
I'm good.
All
I'm
right,
good.
awesome. So youth empowerment, you were telling me a little while ago that after returning from South Africa, some years ago,
Yes.
you've been working assiduously, rather, as relates to empowering young people and stuff with different seminars and stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, after my return, I think I came back, developed the company called Be the One Leadership Development. Be the One is better defined one, help you to understand that you don't have to hope for the one, don't vote for the one, but become the change that you're seeking. So my seminars particularly help people to create an environment that help people to understand who they are. And there were three fundamental questions that were asked. Who am I? Why am I here? And what is the destiny that made you necessary? So it helps you to understand that the difference between a diamond and the pebble is that the diamond is more valuable simply because it is rare. And out of 600 million sperm cells, we were chosen.
Just one.
So it created that environment that helps you to understand the possibility of who you are. So, yes, principally.
Right. So that itself is quite a mouthful, but at the end of the day, it's quite impactful.
Yes.
Because understanding rather that the whole 6 million sperm cells, and you just happen to be the one, it definitely means that there's a purpose for your life.
And I'm happy to talk about purpose. You see, without understanding one's purpose, you allow people to define what your life outcome to be. And I think even given the current climate, an environment was created so that there is birthing of a possibility of what I can be. Guyana now is no longer hopeful of producing oil. We are declared a petroleum state. So I think we need to reshift and reorganize our thinking to better assimilate and accommodate which is coming, the development that is coming. It would be unfortunate for us to be recolonized by Western interests. So I believe our people have the responsibility, both individually and collectively, to understand the timing in which where we're at. There was a time, on Saturday, I went to a church to representing the administration at a centurion's birthday. And I remarked, I said, you have been here for many decades. You've been through the decade of the decade of deliverance when we became independent. You've been through a decade of death and destruction. You're ushering the decade of development. So I believe that this is a period that all Guyanese should be excited. And what is unfortunate is that the Western powers and interests seems to be a bit more interested and more excited than we are. So I hope that there is that mental shift in our consciousness to where we are. God has blessed this nation. And I think we ought to embrace where we are and who we are.
Right. So given the transformation that is about to take place in this country as relates to the wealth that will be coming with oil and gas, how important is it rather for young people to be empowered? And not just empowered in terms of seeking a job in oil and gas, but to be empowered in such a way that you know exactly what your purpose is and knowing exactly what you can contribute to development of this country.
I think we are fortunate to have an administration as we do, and especially in the person of our president. I think it shows through his many policies and programs. It is crucial that we as a people understand who we are, why we are here, and this period and this time. We have a continental destiny for which we are responsible to fulfilling. I remember when I think his president, someone had asked him for his birthday, what do you want? And he asked for a bus because he had had conversations with children who were dispossessed and could not afford to go to school. And he has created the 5B program whereby it encourages people to be educated and informed. You see, the difference with him, I don't believe he's a politician, but rather a leader. And there's a delicate difference whereby a politician thinks of the next election, but a leader thinks of the next generation. And there's evidence that points to that. I believe, too, that his heart is that of a father. And the environment has been created that you don't have to necessarily look for employment, but rather deployment. You see the difference between your job and your work. Your job is what you're trained to do. Your work is what you're born to do. Your job is your career. Your work is your life's assignment. You can be hired and fired from a job, but finding your purpose protects you from the imprisonment of a job. And I believe that our president has allowed for that type of environment to foster so that we can become seeds of possibility. And I think you have seen the upsurgence of that type of philosophy being cultivated. And I think we have to take advantage of it. It's not that there's a lack of opportunities, but Marley says, in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. I think that we need to appreciate the fact that God has indeed blessed us. I give you a story. You remember when Saul was deposed of the kingdom and they needed a new king? He went to the house of Jesse. Jesse brought all of his sons except David.
Yeah.
But the oil did not flow, even though the presence of oil was there. Because none of them were to be anointed and appointed, it did not flow. And then he asked, is there not another? Then he remembered David. So when David came, what happened? The oil flowed. So I believe, and what is the name of our president? So I believe that the timing is crucial and even spiritually parallels what is happening in the natural. When David came, the oil flowed. Now, oil demonstrates anointing. Guyana is so anointed now that the world has turned his gaze on Guyana and say, what will we do? You know, there was a time we were disrespected and disregarded. You go to Little Trinidad and Barbados and we were relegated to a bench. No longer. You know, we have improved. We were #1 in suicide. Now we're #1 in tourism. We were there have been so many statistics concerning how Guyana has developed and blossomed over the years, over the past 4 years.
All right, great. So focusing on all the positives and focusing on all the things that we can expect. What do you think we need to do as a country to ensure that we don't lose sight of the fact that, yes, all this, the bounty could be had from oil, but help us not to lose sight of that and lose sight of what could be derived from it? What do you think we need to do to ensure that we remain on track and to focus on the things that are important for the development of this country?
You know, there is Dr. Carter Woodson. He says, if you can control a man's thinking, you don't have to worry about his actions. When you determine what a man shall think, you don't have to concern yourself with what he will do. If you make a man feel that he's inferior, you don't have to compel him to accept an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. If you make a man feel that he's just an outcast, you don't have to order him to the back door. He will go without being told. And if there's no back door, his very nature will demand one. I believe that we have the mindset and the philosophy that cares about the citizenry. And I think that Guyana is in safe, capable hands. And it is just for us as a people to be reawakened to our consciousness and not be relegated as we were before as second-class citizens in our own land. And I think that the timing is right. You know, Dr. Kenneth McFarland says 2% of the people think, 3% think they think, but 95% would rather die than think. We need to encourage thinking. And I think that we as a people need to be engaged in our natural patrimony and have a sense of pride about who we are. There was a time we got a ticket to Jamaica, we became Jamaicans. Now our passport has weight. We are an empowered people, you know. And you have to judge people based on their heart. Man look at the outward appearance, God looks at your heart. Judge people on their heart. If you seek power, leaders don't seek power, they seek to empower. Leaders don't seek position, they seek to reposition the people. And there's evidence of that. So I believe that it is time, and the timing is right for all Guyanese to arise and shine, for the light has indeed come. So I believe that Guyana is poised, not only for greatness, because greatness is not fame or popularity. Dr. Martin Luther King says everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great, because greatness is a matter of service. And I think we have to understand our talents, our abilities, our gifts, and our strengths so that we can better serve. We do not want to be generational thieves, stealing from this generation the rich deposit that God has placed within each and every one of us. So I believe that the timing is right for us to understand who we are, why we are here, and the destiny that made us necessary.
Awesome.
I think time is.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Collins, interesting conversation indeed. And as we move forward, I trust that all young persons within this country will be able to recognize their great role and place in the development of